now tuned into the greatest.
The Run with Manny Wilson podcast.
The Run, the Manny Wilson podcast.
The best sports podcast there is.
Yes, sir. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to The Run with me, Manny Wilson, all the way from Detroit to Chicago to your speakers and headphones. I appreciate you tuning in to the first interactive sports podcast, a community that makes sure your voice is heard. So if you hear something you agree with, you disagree with, you like, you dislike, go ahead, shoot me a quick call, 219-413-9405. And of course, we will play your take back on our next episode. And shout out to SeatGeek for sponsoring this episode. Get $20 off your first ticket purchase when you use the promo code, The Run Podcast. This code can also be applied to first-time users on the mobile app or the website. And I don't know about you, but football season is on the way, man. It's a lot of games coming up, so go ahead, create that account, and then use that promo code, The Run Podcast. But anyway, look, man, besides football, obviously we know the Olympics are here. A lot going on. USA. But there's been some basketball talks. That's where a lot of the focus is. Really gymnastics. There's been a crazy amount of different things, but I'm not about to cover every single sport that's going on in the Olympics. So the thing that stood out to me most right now is obviously the group play between USA's basketball team. They've been playing against Serbia, South Sudan, and then Puerto Rico. Those are the teams that's in our group right now. And then, it's time to hold somebody accountable this morning because I heard some silly stuff about USA basketball, and it was requested that I respond to this crazy take. So this is Kendrick Perkins. He has a huge platform over there on ESPN, and this is what he was talking about with Team USA. He was saying, Kevin Durant is the guy who's gonna really carry USA to gold. Crazy statement, I know, but KD had himself a great game. The other night they played against Serbia. KD found himself having 23 points, shot 8 for 9 from the field goal percentage, 5 for 5 for the three-point line. Had a crazy game. So, I understand where this energy is coming from, but at the same time, Kendrick Perkins lost his mind. So it's time to hold Kendrick Perkins accountable. Here's what he had to say. Let's do it.
They're going to get enough stops, okay, on the defensive side of things because they're the most talented ball club. When you add a Kevin Durant in there, did you see the life that he gave the bench and his guys? I mean, everybody was standing up. Anthony Edwards was feeding off of that. Hell, LeBron James and Steph Curry fed off of Kevin Durant. When you know what he's capable of doing, if the game is close, the ball is going to be in Kevin Durant's hands down the stretch to take them home. We saw it the last time Team USA won the gold medal, and we're going to see it this time when Team USA win the gold medal. It's going to be on the back of Kevin Durant.
Now that is just absolutely crazy right there. So that was Kendrick Perkins. As you heard, live and direct right there. That man thinks USA's gold medal is going to be on the weight of Kevin Durant's shoulders. It's going to be on Kevin Durant's shoulders. And I just want to say, bro, I get KD had a great game here, but bro, Kendrick Perkins, bro, look, you got to hear me clearly when I say this, bro. There has never been a time where any team has won a championship, a medal or anything, and it's been on the weight of Kevin Durant's shoulders. That just hasn't happened. Anytime he's played in the NBA, he's never been the one to carry everybody on his shoulders. When he won his rings in Golden State, let's be real, they could have still won championships without Kevin Durant had they not traded all their pieces to get him on the team. But even when he was there, he didn't carry anybody on his shoulders. After Steph Curry and the Golden State Warriors, he has not carried anybody. He's played with multiple superstars ever since he left Steph Curry, and he still has not carried anybody past the conference finals or even to the conference finals. The last time I remember Kevin Durant carrying anybody on his shoulders to will them all the way to the finals or a championship game was back in 2012 with OKC. Other than that, that was the last time. And I think it's just borderline disrespectful that you can look at the roster, you can look at the games, if you even watching the games, because clearly it seems like you're not watching the game. You must have just seen the stats and heard about what he did in one game, and you ain't paid attention to anything else that's been happening with USA basketball in the Olympics, because anybody who's watching the Olympics basketball can clearly see that LeBron is the one who is controlling every aspect of Team USA in terms of play, and the one who's really doing the heavy lifting and who is the glue on this team for Team USA basketball. Yeah, clearly they got a lot of talent. Anthony Edwards, Steph Curry, Derek White. They got a lot of people out there, clearly. But as we all know, Bron is the one who's clearly putting up just about a triple-double every single time he steps on the floor. You look at the last game that he had against Serbia there. He had 21 points, 9 assists, 7 rebounds. And this is on a nightly basis where he's doing this. So I understand, you're a little hyped that Kevin Durant is doing this thing, and he finally had a big performance where, people remember who the hell he is. Because this is no disrespect to KD. We all know the kind of athlete he is. We know the skill he possesses when he's on the court. But at the end of the day, bro, it's a silly, silly statement to sit here and say Kevin Durant is going to be the one doing the heavy lifting and carrying this team to the goal. Nah. LeBron has been the one that's been carrying all along since group play has started. He's been the one carrying every team that he's ever played on in the NBA. Played with the Miami Heat, carried them to the finals, especially when D-Wade was broken and beat down. Went to Cleveland, carried them to the finals. Went to LA, carried them to the finals. Carried every single team. He's still carrying Anthony Davis, who's supposed to be leading the teams. He's well beyond his days of carrying anybody on basketball teams that he's been playing with, but clearly everybody is still expecting Bron to carry, and that's what he's been able to do. After 20-some years of basketball, this man is still carrying teams night after night after night, and just like this Olympic team, he's carrying them. They're a great team, but he's carrying them, bro. I don't know what you watching, Kendrick Perkins, but it definitely ain't Kevin Durant carrying this team to the gold medal. Now, I'll be shocked if it continues to happen, but ultimately you can't just sit here and ignore the fact that LeBron got 9 assists, 7 rebounds, and 20 points. That's a very key piece. It's pivotal because Kevin Durant doesn't get those 24 points without those 9 assists that Bron is feeding everybody. I get, KD is feeding everybody. The energy is high. That's Team USA basketball, though. That's Team USA basketball, baby. That's how they play. They get each other hype. Every time Anthony Edwards score, they're getting hype. Every time Steph Curry makes a 3, they're getting hype. That's what they've been doing for decades. All right, let's get into it, man. News for the run. Starting off with the Detroit Lions, they just secured their left tackle, Taylor Decker, to another 3 years, man. Now, they paid him $60 million to stay in Detroit, so this is going to be a huge help on that offensive line for the Detroit Lions. And the Miami Dolphins and quarterback Tua Tagovailoa, he is receiving a huge payday as well. The two agreed to a 4-year deal worth $212 million. This is a huge paycheck for Tua Tagovailoa here. And then he's not the only quarterback that received a big paycheck, because Jordan Love of the Green Bay Packers is also now one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL after signing his 4-year, $220 million contract extension. And the contract includes a $75 million signing bonus, along with $155 million in guarantees. So keep in mind, man, this is huge because not only did he receive a big pay and become one of the highest paid quarterbacks in the NFL, but Jordan Love has only made his debut in the NFL 1 year ago. He's only played 1 season in the NFL. So, this is kind of crazy that they figured they already found their guy, which it looks like they have because he had a great season last year. Obviously earned 2 postseason wins as well. So, you can't be mad at him, but it's pretty early on to be paying somebody that much of an extension. So anyway, look, man, you can catch the NFL's first pregame season. It kicks off this Thursday. You can watch the Chicago Bears versus the Houston Texans in a special matchup to kick off the NFL season. Now, hey, these teams, you got to keep an eye on these teams because both of these teams made a lot of trades and some moves during the offseason. Got a lot of hype surrounding them. Obviously, we know with the Bears, they grabbed up a new receiving core to build around Caleb Williams, the #1 draft pick. Keenan Allen, Rome Odunze, DJ Moore. Then you got DeAndre Swift. They got a hell of an offense, but the thing that does concern me here is we have not seen the Bears at any type of potential at this point of the time of the year. We've only seen the minicamp highlights of Caleb Williams throwing some good passes and throwing these dimes and no looks and all of these stuff. And it's cool. It's hype. But at the same time, you got to keep in mind, bro, there's different type of game speeds that people go through because mini camp game speed, preseason game speed, and regular season game speed are all completely different. They're all different because people are giving maximum effort. You're going against teams' best talent when you're playing in the regular season. And then from where it's been said by previous people who's played in the postseason, that's another level of game speed there because everybody's giving their maximum effort as well. So, the Bears, clearly they got a solid core, but, I'm excited to see what they do. Obviously, it's preseason. I'm not expecting, what the season will turn out to be, in the hands of this preseason game. I doubt that's the case. But above all, the Texans, they're ultimately a top team to watch as well because the Texans made a lot of moves offensively. Brought back Tank Dell, got Stephon Diggs, Nico Collins is there, running back Joe Mixon. Man, that offense is cooking up, and we seen what C.J. Stroud did with half of this offense last year. So I'm excited to see this young quarterback who really thrived last year with less pieces add more pieces to the mix. It's going to be fun for him. And then on the defense side, for the Texans, they also added a lot of beef over there because now they got Daniel Hunter. He was fifth in sacks last year, so he was a huge component with the Minnesota Vikings, but obviously got traded or signed over with the Houston Texans, so going to be a huge help. Then they got Budda Baker over there. No, I'm sorry, that's incorrect. Desmond King. They got Desmond King over there in the secondary with the Houston Texans, and he's going to be a huge factor too. So I don't think they're overhyped or anything on the defensive end, but they got some pieces they needed, especially on the defensive line. So it'll be interesting to see what they can do for the season as well. Again, preseason is just something where, we're going to laugh at. Nobody's really expecting people to come out play super hard on preseason. A lot of guys are still trying to make the team at this point. So I doubt we see the full potential or even close to the potential with these guys in the preseason. But anyway, look, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Appreciate you for tuning in, kicking it with me, hanging out. And look, man, hey, that's all I got for y'all. I appreciate you. I'm going to leave you with some word of advice here. Just, a positive note. Not necessarily advice, but I'm going to just say, man, find balance. Whatever that looks like for you, find balance. The happiness is always going to go with the sorrows, and there'll always be ups and downs, but you just got to find balance of making sure you don't get too low, making sure, when things are bad, you still find some sort of positivity there for you. So just find balance in whatever you're doing. Take that however you want to receive that. Other than that, man, that's all I got for y'all today. Send it to a cousin, a brother, an aunt, an uncle, a niece, a nephew, co-worker, friend, family member, anyone you know who will enjoy sports. And until then, we will be back later on next week, and so on and so on and so on.